Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Present.
Mr. Codiani?
Yes.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Next is ordinances, for first reading by title only. This is ordinance 2022-10, amending chapter 265 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, subchapter 265-14.1 entitled Exclusion of Trucks in excess of 4 tons gross weight, and subchapter 265-53.1 entitled Trucks in excess of 4 tons gross weight excluded of the code of the Township of Mount Holly. Up to council for consideration. Do I have any consideration for ordinance 2022-10?
I have a question. So who's the action?
Read all the.
First and second.
Very good, first.
I have a first by Mr. Brown, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Now, before we do roll call, sorry.
First question, really, the main add-on for this is just adding a street onto this. This ordinance.
You wanna add, which you wanna add?
No, it's just like, that is the major change in this, right?
Correct.
Okay, and then, it says, vehicles in excess of 4 tons. But then like later in the ordinance, it talks about, 13 tons, GVWR gross vehicle weight ratio, so that's saying like vehicles that are 4 tons plus whatever they can carry up to 13 tons.
I thought they were moving and putting it to 13 tons or 4 tons each time.
Are you looking more than up to 13?
Correct, it's a 4-ton truck, it's not a small truck.
These suggested revisions from the chief, assessment traffic, and these are recommendations.
So we're increasing the size allowed on these specific streets, 13 tons.
Prohibited, above prohibited.
Okay, so basically, instead of prohibiting like up to 4 times, we're prohibiting up to 13 tons, so we're allowing anything under 13.
That was my understanding.
Okay, should further, only because the semantics just had me a bit confused. It says, all commercial vehicles having a gross weight of over 13 tons are excluded from the described streets and then the streets listed. Except that this exclusion shall not be restricted to the delivery or pickup of merchandise or other property along the street. Does that not allow a lot of wiggle room for the business to skirt those rules?
If the delivery needs to make a truck to High Street, I'm not sure how it's gonna allow that.
Okay.
That's the delicate balance. I don't want to paralyze businesses on my street.
So does this address the issue on Street Street that was presented by residents 2 meetings ago?
No.
It doesn't. Okay.
With the first and the second, we have roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Codiani?
Abstain.
Ms. Astor?
Abstain.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next ordinance is ordinance 2022-11, providing for repair and reconstruction of the Union Mill Dam and related improvements in and for the township appropriating $210,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $190,500 in the general improvement bond for notes of the township to finance the same. Any council have questions? Seeing none, we have a motion for this ordinance. I have a first, do I have a second? Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Codiani?
Yes.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next is ordinances, second reading, these will be for public hearing. This ordinance is 2022-9, authorizing the construction of improvements at Buttonwood Lake, appropriating the sum of therefore, and authorizing the issuance of a $142,500 bond or note of the township for financing such appropriations. We'll open it up to the public first, the first row, on this ordinance and this ordinance only. Seeing none, we'll go to second row. Seeing none, we'll go to the third row. Name and address for the record, please.
Thank you. Michael Rothbell, 33 Union Street in Mount Holly. Just curious what the construction plans call for on the lake. Is it to be dredging? I'm just curious.
We, improved the Buttonwick Lake Dam, we have taken out the bridge, it's basically to put, walking bridge across it, and basically sidewalks from going off the bridge.
Is that gonna, impede the riparian buffer that was put there, or are they gonna go on the other side?
I don't believe so.
It's gonna be that bottom, away from the riparian buffers?
I think the bridge was there before, so
Oh, but you said the sidewalks on either side, that's what,
leading from the bridge to the street.
oh, so so it's gonna be away from the lake, it's not gonna be around the lake?
No, it's going towards the street.
Okay, okay.
Anyone else in that row for this ordinance? Last row? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion for this ordinance and bring it back up to council for any questions or concerns or a motion. I have a first, do I have a second? Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Codiani?
Yes.
Ms. Astor? Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Alright. Matters presented by the public. Members of the public are invited to submit comments during the public comment portion of this meeting. The council pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act will not publicly discuss personnel matters and may choose not to respond to comments made by members of the public during this portion of the meeting. However, the council will give all comments appropriate consideration and will refer all individual complaints to the township manager or appropriate township representative for resolution. Each citizen be allotted up to 3 minutes to speak in order to allow everyone an opportunity to express their opinions or concerns. And again, also, please remember to state your name and address for the record. We'll start with the first row. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Paul Gracie, 12 Regency Drive.
Please stand.
Paul Gracie, 12 Regency Drive, Mount Holly. I have 3 questions. Pardon me?
Remain standing.
No, sir, I have some related back issues,
That's okay, sir.
so I'm gonna sit down.
Okay.
Also, I'm a bona fide senior citizen. At 73, I have the right to sit. Thank you. I have 3 questions, and a question for the solicitor. First question, and I'm hoping there's some answer, someone answers these questions this evening or at least sometime in the future. First question is, why are meetings at 6 o'clock at night? The second question is, how are appointments made to the MUA and the Township Committee? The third question for council, and then I have a question for the solicitor, is what exactly are the qualifications for township manager? And my question for the solicitor, and I'm hoping I can get an answer this evening or in writing. If the township manager is employed by the township council, you would assume that that person would be impartial. So therefore, how can that person support one candidate over another candidate during a Democratic primary? To me, that appears like it's clear and present conflict of interest. So I'm hoping these questions can be answered this evening to the general public, either tonight by council or through some form of written communication directed to me at 12 Regency Drive, Mount Holly, and thank you for the consideration of allowing me to sit down.
Thank you.
Anyone could respond at any time, or is it one specific time when council chooses or chooses not to respond?
what was your name again?
Paul Bracy, sir. Solicitor?
Mr. Bracy, I know you're gonna find this hard to believe, but, I'm not prepared this evening.
But you can get that information to me in writing, sir?
Well, there was a lot packed in there, right?
Would you understand the gist of my question, sir?
So you asked about, the qualifications of Mr. Brown, right?
Correct, which would be rather simple because there has to be criterion that you use as a basis.
Well, I'm sure the council that previously appointed Mr. Brown, considered his qualifications and
And they
appointed
would be
him.
so listed, sir, for public record.
Isn't there a job description? I'm pretty sure, right?
I think there is.
And I'm pretty sure that the applicant.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, sir.
Can you just relax, because I'm talking to.
Sir, I am relaxing. I thought you were speaking directly to me.
Mr. Bracy, just
Oh, I'm
one
sorry,
second.
man.
So, if there's a
We both are.
job description, and the applicant applies to the job description, shouldn't their qualifications be listed with their resume and everything else?
I would think, Mr. Brown, that at the time that Mr. Brown was, Mr. Brown was selected for the position, there was a job posting, there were qualifications, there was an interview that probably took place. Yeah,
And that's normal practice.
that's absolutely normal practice, very transparent, I just don't have that information
Information
available.
right away. And how long has Mr. Brown actually been? It's been, what, 7, 6 years?
6 years as manager, 2 years as deputy manager,
Gotcha.
18 years with council.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sir, in regard to the follow-up, and thank you for your time, I appreciate it. But could I still get that information? And I agree with what you're saying. This is a matter of information, but my follow-up, sir, is more pressing. Because there's a question of conflict of interest, particularly when you're talking about a Democratic primary that entails the Mount Holly Democrats, a suspect formation of a group, and a more traditional Mount Holly traditional Democratic Party.
Mr. Bracy, I'm gonna do my best with Cornell to get you, the information concerning, the job description, for the manager's position.
Thank you.
I don't feel, right now, I don't feel that I should weigh in or give any particular opinion as to the particular activities of this particular manager as it relates to the Democratic, Republican, and I don't care what party it is.
Sure, understood,
okay?
sir, but my problem is when you have a campaign sign outside your home and you're functioning as a township manager and you're being employed and paid by, I'm not done my sentence, sir.
Excuse
And
me, I am in charge of this
I
meeting,
understand that.
your 3
And
minutes
I'm
have
having a
been up.
dialogue with the
I
solicitor.
understand that, sir.
Sir, I apologize.
I understand that, sir, but
We're gonna
this is
move
a
on, Mr.
campaign issue, this is not
No,
a
it's not a
township
campaign issue,
right
it's a
now.
concerned citizen issue in question.
Okay, and you brought it
that's
to
all
our
it
attention, and our
was.
attorney said he will get you information.
Thank you. Thank you for your kindness and time, sir.
My wife owns 50% of my house.
I'm really not interested in that, sir. That's not the nature of my
Just
question.
let it,
Thank you, sir.
It's enough.
stop. Please, that's enough. Anyone else in the front row? Seeing none, we'll move to the second row. Seeing none, we'll move to the third row. Good evening.
Good evening, Michael Rothbell, 33 Union Street. I have some questions about 2022-10 ordinance. First, I always get confused. The first reading doesn't mean it's adopted, the first reading means it goes to a second reading, is that correct?
Correct, and public comment there'll be a chance for public
Okay.
comment at the next meeting.
Okay, I'm concerned, because I know there's a lot of people here concerned about trucks, just from basically people I've talked to. And it sounds like what this does, it allows bigger trucks than the prior ordinance, is that correct? It increases,
Just address that, just before we first meeting.
pardon?
Let me just address that, when we just did the first meeting speech. It's supposed to prohibit trucks, you know what I'm saying, that's 13 tons or more, right?
But the current ordinance prohibits trucks in excess of 4 tons? Is that correct?
So we have to, so the whole point is, I think we have to allow. That's what we just discussed that.
So, cause you guys are far away from me, and I don't, so, if the old ordinance allowed 4 tons, and the new one is going to increase that to 13 tons, is that correct? Yes or no?
It's gonna prohibit up to 13.
Prohibit
Sure. What's prohibit?
13-ton trucks.
I believe so.
And does the current ordinance prohibit 4-ton trucks at all? That's what I'm trying to get, that's what I'm trying to get a hold of.
So your questions will be answered more so when second reading comes in July.
But I'd like to be prepared for second reading, that's why I'm trying to.
Do you have the orders right there with you?
I just have the agenda. It says exclusion of trucks in excess of 4 tons entitled trucks, it amends the ordinance entitled exclusion of trucks in excess of 4 tons gross weight.
We understand that, Mr. Rossman, but the thing is, you're speaking now on an ordinance that hasn't been released to the public, so you're asking questions that we had to approve it first to get through, to go to the second reading, which then it gets released to the public, then you guys can review it and come and ask the questions.
But all you
So
get.
you're asking us questions for an ordinance we don't have in front of us right now, because it's not supposed, the only first reading is on this meeting.
But I know you were,
The details of the ordinance is not this.
but we're not gonna have them before the next, is there any chance to get it before the next meeting? Like,
Yes, you can ask me for that and I'll supply it to you.
But it can't, not until after this meeting.
okay, and
It has
then,
to be, it has to be approved first, on first reading. And then the ordinance is available in my office, send me an email, call me on the phone, and I will get you a copy.
okay, thank you. And then also, I noted that there's a lot of trucks parked in the Acme lot, and I also know we had the construction vehicles parked at Madison. Is that legal within the township's ordinances, all those trucks?
We have already addressed the issue with the, property owner. They worked up to put signs on the property prohibiting it, so it can be enforced.
Okay, so that will be enforced. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else in that room? Seeing none, we'll go to the back row. Seeing none, we'll close the public portion for tonight and come back up to council for the set agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine by council and will be tacked by one motion. Should a council member wish to discuss the consent agenda item separately, that item can be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence. Under consent agenda tonight, we have resolution 2022-68 authorizing a tax sale pursuant to NJSA 54-5-19 and chapter 99 PL 97. Resolution 2269 authorizing renewal of liquor license for the term of July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. Resolution 2022-70 authorizing refund for a vital record charge. Resolution 2022-71 authorizing refund for vendor permit. Resolution 2022-72 authorizing refund for vendor permit. Resolution number 2022-73, resolution appointing James Mazzato as electrical subcode official and inspector. Resolution 2022-74, authorizing the refund or cancellation of property taxes for block 134-01, lot 35, 224 Chestnut Street. Resolution number 2075, authorizing the refund or cancellation of property taxes for block 57, lot 39, 16 Cherry Street. Resolution number 2022-76, the appointing a deputy municipal clerk. Resolution 2022-77, authorizing the award of a contract for the construction improvements at Buttonwood Lake in connection with the Buttonwood pedestrian bridge project. The approval of bill list and the department head reports. Does anyone wish to have anything pulled and voted on separately? Hearing none, do I have a motion for consent agenda? I have a first, do I have a second? Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Codiani?
Yes.
Ms. Astor? Yes. Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, but with, regards as G and H, I would like to abstain from voting on those two. Any matters to be reported by the township manager?
Not at this time, sir.
Thank you. Matters to be presented by the township solicitor?
Nothing specific.
Thank you. Matters presented by council. Tobiani?
Thank you for your response.
Mr. Brown.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate everyone who won the elections. And, I hope they did a great campaign, all of us. And I'm especially glad that we have changed the Democratic Committee, because we have suffered for over 36 years and had this going for us. Now everybody will have a chance to have their rights, and that's all I have to say.
Mr. Banks?
None of this time.
With that, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Our next meeting is scheduled for July 11th at 6 p.m. Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?